Let's explore autistic history and the Autism Wars. This is part 32 in the series. We left off in the early 90s where autistics are going together or meeting each other at autism conferences and starting to connect online and then meeting in person and finding that space of home or creating it. So I'm going to jump back in to that right after they are at this idea of they should have a radio tower, they should buy a radio tower, the autistics, to send a message to the mothership telling them that we were all together now and it can come back and retrieve us and take us home. So I'm going to pick back up in the next part. But I'm glad there was no spaceship to come get us back then. We've found so many more of our people since that day, and there are still many more wishing and searching for a community to come home to. We've come a long way toward creating a home for ourselves right here on Earth. And this next section is titled Reality Check. Right? Reality check. Autistic people, like any other group of people, are not all alike. We don't all have the same needs and desires for social interaction. Some of us, imagine, some of us don't get along with others of us. So there have been misunderstandings and disagreements among us, hurt feelings, lost friendships, and worse. One extremely persistent autistic predator has harassed and terrorized enough members of our community that we stopped publishing our pen pal list. Developed security procedures to verify the identities of people applying to join our internet forum, and established a policy of not publicizing the location of our gatherings. Feeling some other pattern points happening here too, unfortunately. And less dramatically, some autistic people have made contact with some aspect of our community and decided they weren't interested or didn't like it and gone away. ANI is no longer the only autistic community in existence, and it's not what every autistic person needs or wants. Some autistic people may find other organizations or communities more to their liking. Some autistic people may not be interested in autistic organizations or communities at all. The characteristics of our particular autistic community result from the characteristics of the particular people who have become active participants in some, or who have become active participants in it. And some of these characteristics are, probably the most central shared value of the ANI community is that it's okay to be autistic. It's not wrong for us to be the way we are, and it's not our goal to become or learn to emulate NTs. Autistic people who value passing for normal or who do not want to be associated with people and with behaviors considered to represent low functioning autism are likely to be uncomfortable with the range of members and the openly, unashamedly autistic behaviors that are welcome in ANI. We are not as politically intense as some autistic activist organizations, mostly because we aren't organized enough to engage in much political activity as a community. But we are firmly aligned with the disability rights movement, both autistic people who want more organized political activism than ANI engages in, and autistic people who prefer to avoid any political controversy at all are likely to be unhappy about ANI's level of involvement with disability politics. We have a lot of members who have sensory sensitivities and who want community norms that protect them from overstimulation. While we have tried hard to accommodate the needs of as many autistic people as possible, those who are very loud are prone to touching people without invitation or have other behaviors that create sensory distress, where sensitive people may feel uncomfortably constrained by our request for self-restraint and consideration for the sensitivities of others. We are an autistic-run community. Non-autistic may participate, but decision-making power and organizational leadership are held by autistic people. Given the nature of autism and the prevalence of difficulties with executive functioning, we are often less organized and less efficient than NT organizations, despite our best efforts. There's a certain amount of disorganization and unpredictability that we have not been able to overcome. Autistic people who can't deal with that are likely to find ANI events very frustrating. As a matter of fact, I find ANI events very frustrating because they overtax my organizational skills, but I put up with the inevitable frustrations because the rewards of participating in this community make it worthwhile to me.